Hi guys, welcome to Synthroist. I'm your host and welcome to my car as well. Today I would like to talk to you about how to buy a luxury watch. In this episode I will give you 5 useful tips on what you should take into consideration when buying your first or second or other watch. That's gonna be completely from my point of view. And yeah, let's begin. The first tip is to set your budget right. It's always good to know the ballpark figure of what you are buying. Let's say you've got £5,000 to spend on a luxury watch. So you need to know what watch you are able to buy for this particular amount of money, and also you need to know how far you can stretch your budget to. Like for example, if you see a nice watch for £500 more than you actually have, then you need to know if it's really useful to spend 500 more and just save up some more in order to buy a better watch. You really need to be focused on what you are comfortable with spending. Like let's say you've got £6,000 and you want to buy a nice Rolex Submariner date watch. You need to know if you need to be ready for all possibilities. Like when it comes to dealing with watch dealers or boutiques, you need to know how much or how far you can stretch your budget to. You need to know the exact amount that you have to spend on a luxury wristwatch. Second tip is to know brands and models that you're interested in, and they are around the figure that you'd like to spend on a watch. So you need to do your deep and profound research on what brands you enjoy and what brand suits you. And then if you know the brand, like for example Rolex or Omega, then you need to simply research a model that hits this perfect sweet spot for you as a watch collector. This can take a while because it's like a purchase. With every purchasing process, you need to go through many examples, many models and many brands to find out what you really like and what you are really into. So know your models, know particular models that you're interested in, because there is nothing worse than going to a shop, let's say Breitling shop or Omega shop or Rolex shop, and letting the sales rep telling you what to buy. They're gonna try to push you the least sellable example that they have in their shop, so you really need to be cautious about that. When you approach a dealer, regardless of this being pre-owned or new watch, you need to know exactly the exact model that you really want, so you are ready in terms of pricing and in terms of negotiation. Buying a watch comes down to a basic research on what you are interested in. Regardless of money you spend, you can spend £500, you can spend £5,000, or you can even spend £50,000 on a watch. So everything comes down to a basic research of the market that you're hitting and you're aiming to buy from. Let's say if you were to buy a pre-owned watch, you go to websites or platforms that allows you to compare prices and see different examples available for sale. You will be flooded with different examples for sale when we talk about pre-owned watches. So you always need to be aware of what you need to look for when you buy a luxury watch. However, I will give you some clues on what to look for in a watch. The really first thing you want to look at when you buy a pre-owned watch, you won't have this problem when buying a brand new watch from the shop like Breitling or Rolex, because it will be there. You'll buy a full set. However, if you buy a pre-owned watch, then you'll have a choice of buying it with box, with papers, or as a watch only. If you're buying it as watch only, then the prices will be significantly lower. This may sound like a good deal for you, however, don't be fooled by that, because papers and box for the watch is like a provenance of where it came from. So you really want to buy your first watch especially as a full set, as full as possible. So if I were you, I would really focus on scope of delivery, which is box and papers. That would be my perfect sweet spot when buying a first watch, or a watch that would last you forever. Second thing is a condition of the watch, which is really important, because if the watch is scratched or the glass is scratched or it needs the service, then afterwards, after buying this kind of watch, it can cost you hundreds of pounds, because we deal with luxury watches, so it comes at the price, especially servicing. You need to be aware of what price you need to pay for a full service in the brand you are buying watch. Let's say you're buying a Submariner date, so the servicing costs anything from £500 up to thousands of pounds, depending on what quote you'll get from Rolex. So you really need to be aware of that when purchasing a watch. That's why many people should ask watch dealers, does it come with any service history or just papers? You really want to be interested in this kind of things, because they basically make the value of the watch. Additional service history, that's a bonus, so you should really be aiming to have them if you can. Also, next important thing, especially when you buy a vintage watch like 80s, 90s, 70s, you really want to have a look at the watch. Has any part been replaced? That's a very important question to ask a watch dealer or a seller of the watch, because once you make a purchase, then the watch belongs to you with any defects or flaws, along with benefits if you buy a right watch. For me personally, it doesn't matter if the watch has box and papers, because I'm not really focused on the provenance of the watch as much as I'm focused on the watch itself. So I don't need box or papers. I simply enjoy the watch as it is. Actually, I purchased few older Rolexes without box and papers, and then I sold them for a profit after a while of enjoying it on my wrist. So it's really up to you. But if I were buying a luxury watch for the first time, I would really be focused on buying something that came with the history and has box and papers. For you, I would really steer away from watches that came without box or papers, and also I would focus on buying a watch from a reputable dealer. So when you buy your first watch, you really want to feel as comfortable as possible. That's really important. I'll make a video on how to inspect a watch in terms of the condition and how it's running, and other features that are really important when trying to buy a watch and negotiate the prices, because condition of the watch can save you a lot of money. Like for example, the watch needs servicing, then you can say I'm not gonna pay this amount because it needs a servicing. But that's really for a separate video topic, because it's really broad and it needs to be explained thoroughly, and we don't have time today. Okay, so the fourth tip from me, it's once you found some examples and you saw some names in terms of pre-owned watch dealers, you need to now research them thoroughly in terms of reviews, in terms of the sales, and in terms of how long have they been operating on the market. Like for example, if this watch dealer been on the market for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years or 100 years, it's really important. So you need to research the particular watch dealer that has a watch that you really want. Second thing, get in touch with them, have a nice telephone conversation, and just let them make you feel comfortable about buying a watch. Ask them about all the details that you would like to know. Alright guys, so once you got in touch with a dealer that has a watch that you are looking for in stock at the moment, just yeah, book an appointment, view it in person, have a chat with a watch dealer, see if you're able to do a nice deal on that. Ask about all the details you want to know, like for example, if the dial was replaced, if hands were replaced, has it ever been serviced before, that sort of questions. Look at the condition of the watch, if it was polished, if it has any scratches on the glass, any chips around the glass, anything that makes you not appreciate the watch as it is, really. I forgot to mention actually, what's on my wrist today? I am wearing a Rolex Yacht-Master II 116680. Very odd one, actually, very unpopular Rolex sports model. But let's get to the point. Once you like the watch, just ask about the best price and just start swinging the price into your area of budget. Yeah, so let's say if the watch is £6,500, then I think you can haggle down a few hundreds of it. But however, remember not to be a low baller, like low balling up to £2,000, because that's really ridiculous. Just be fair and honest with the seller and just go through the process and see what you can get. Yeah, I think these are, I don't remember how many tips, but I think there are 5 tips from me about buying your luxury watch. The first one was setting your budget right. That's really important because that's basically your strategy is based on your bankroll, about money that you have to spend on the watch. And second tip was finding a particular brand and models that you like and they are around your budget. Third tip was simply looking for particular models, authorized dealer or pre-owned market. You need to find few options that would suit you and you need to choose between them. Basically, you need to do your full research and just prepare your strategy, how you want to manage this purchase. And fourth tip was getting in touch with a particular seller of the watch that you're interested in. Fifth tip was simply negotiating bit after you found a particular dealer that you would like to deal with. Okay guys, so that's it for today. Please like, subscribe and stay tuned for more episodes to follow. Thank you very much for watching. Bye!